Welcome to Rutland Water and the iconic Normanton Church. The church was deconsecrated in 1970 and was to have been demolished as part of the reservoir construction, as its floor was below the proposed water level. Following a public outcry, the lower half was filled with stone and rubble and a concrete cap constructed just below the level of the windows. An embankment was built around the church, leaving it a prominent feature on the water's edge. History lesson over. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
So, we're on the boat at Rutland and we're just about to set sail and try and sort out something for the match tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, due to traffic, I was unable to get up to the water to fish, but I did manage to get up and do a little bit of filming yesterday, and luckily I had an advance recce in my partner Ian Pinder. So Ian, how did you get on yesterday?
I'm afraid it wasn't the best day's fishing. I don't think I'll be accredited with any sort of fame. We struggled, that's the honest truth. It was mirror flat calm from the start to finish. We covered quite a vast area. I was fishing with a guy called Peter Arnold in the boat, and we definitely struggled. We tried all different heights in the water, and I tried blobs, buzzers, and a few other things, and unfortunately we didn't even get a take. I think, I might be wrong in saying this, the fish could have been in deeper water. Today I'm going to start with a DI3 and a small blob on, and hopefully I can attract a few fish in the deeper water, but we'll see.
Yeah, the information I've had is that the fish are quite hard onto the shrimp now, and I think I'm probably going to start deep as well. We're going to fish quite far out for the bank, and that's unusual for this time of year because mostly early April the fish will be in at the margins, and I think there is a band of fish in that area of water feeding on shrimp. But I think there is another layer of fish, if you like, much further out, maybe 200 yards off the bank. So I'm going to target them initially with a DI7. I'm going to count it down 10 seconds and then just mix my retrieve up as I bring it back. And then we'll work out from there. And there'll be lots of changes throughout the day, no doubt. Well, I'm set up with the trusty Drifter 2. I've got a DI7 sweep line on. I've got a 18-foot leader-ish with a shrubby pattern on the point, and I've got 2 shrimps up. Now, I've purposely kept the colour off my cast today because Ian's going to fish with a bit of colour. Now, he's a bit higher up in the water than I am, and he's fishing with a DI3, and hopefully between us we'll be able to try and find the fish in the water column. Now, we're a bit out in the sticks here, but I thought we would try the deeper water first before concentrating further into the shore. So let's get on with some fishing.
Come on, little drone. There we go. There's one thing about...
Well, Ian and I started in Church Bay, just out of Church Bay actually. We were out well beyond 14 buoy in the deeper water. I was on the 7, Ian's been on the DI3, and so we're covering the water column, but we had absolutely no joy there. I did see fish moving in towards the bay, and I've now come up to my floater and I'm straight through with a team of 3 shrimps. Now, we've fished through there and we have spoken with some other boats, and nobody seems to be having any joy at the moment. We are going to move over to Sykes Lane, but before we went, Ian thought it would be a good idea if we just come in and checked out in behind the church here. It's often a very good spot for holding fish. But we started right on the bank. There's been reports of fish being caught very tight into the shoreline. So right on the bank, we've drifted out. We're just about up towards the church, and then after we've had this drift, I think we are going to head over to Sykes. And there's already talk of the bung from Ian, which I've got to say, it's probably a good shout at this juncture. We're not moving particularly quick, and the bung would work particularly well, I hope, in these conditions. But we're going to get on and see if we can tempt a fish to the boat. Well, I'm not going to lie, the fishing's been pretty dire so far. We've done some due diligence down at the church, and we've now moved across to Sykes Lane, and the way the wind is, where it's allowing us to bounce into the bank all the way along. Ian's moved to the bung, he's got flies set at 3, 6 and 9. I'm straight through with just 3 shrimp type patterns. Now, while the fishing's not so good, I have been, as I do, dreaming up things to do to help make the videos more interesting. And what I've dreamt up is this contraption. Now basically it's a GoPro that's attached to a lawn measure, and I've added a weight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into the water at various depths to let you see when your flies descend through the water column. You can see what the flies would see if they had eyes, but they obviously don't have eyes. But I think it'll be quite interesting. I hope it works. This is the first chance I've had to try it, so let's have a go. I'll just get my rod out of the way. And I think we'll start with, let's switch it on. I think we're going to start with 3 feet. So that's now 3 feet under the boat. And then I'll go down to 6 feet. That's 6 feet under the boat. So I'm not quite sure what the visibility will look like, but it'll be interesting to see when we review the footage. Now I'm going all the way down to 8 feet. Let's just get it down to 10 feet. So we're now 10 feet under the boat, and I won't be surprised actually if we're touching the bottom this close to the shore. So let's bring it back up, and let's hope I've still got a GoPro. So I won't know until we get back and I get the footage onto the computer, but I think it'll be quite interesting to see. As we get closer to the monument, I'll do the same exercise and we'll see what there is to see there.
Freshwater mussels are known for their ability to filter water, removing algae and other particles, which contributes to a clearer water. They act as ecosystem engineers by maintaining water clarity and preventing algal blooms. Rutland Water is a large man-made reservoir, and its depth and the way it is managed, for example, water flow and nutrient levels, also play a role in its water clarity. The clarity at the moment is exceptional.
Well, Ian and I have been working really hard, and we've tried multiple different methods. We've been on the bung, we've tried the washing line, we've tried pulling lures, we've fished straight line and shrimp patterns for the longest time to no avail. So we've started to work our way around the reservoir now, and what we're doing is just trying to look for any kind of fish sign. So we're up in Hideaway Bay, and it's been difficult, and the wind is really cold. Ian fished yesterday and he was peeling layers off, it was that hot, but today that wind is really cutting through. Now I've been speaking to lots of different boats, and we've only met one angler who's caught one fish, so it is difficult. But Ian, how do you think it's going so far?
Not very successful as far as we're concerned, that's for sure. It is hard, there's no doubt. The conditions have obviously changed from a few weeks ago when I believe they were catching quite large numbers of fish.
Well, a few. I don't think there's been large numbers caught.
No? Oh, okay. Well, as Lindsay says, we've tried just about everything in our arsenal. And so what we are actually doing, we're in Hideaway Bay. Now, it's a long time since we fished here. I think about 2 years, maybe more.
Maybe longer.
Yeah. And last time we came up here, it was I think it was quite warm, the weather. The water temperature was completely different to what it is today. And it was full of little stockies. Today, the fish are probably here, but unfortunately, whatever we're trying to catch them with, they're just not interested in.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to head down towards New Zealand Point shortly.
I think, to be fair, Ian, it's quite windy. It might not seem that way. We're in Hideaway and it's quite sheltered. Out there in the Ulu, it's really windy, but in here, we're quite sheltered now. The sun and the wind don't make good bedfellows when it comes to loch-style fishing. Your boat's moving at a fair old rate, and the sun's obviously keeping the fish down. And Rutland at the moment is crystal clear, so that sun's rays will be penetrating the water to quite a depth. Now, fish don't have eyelids, so they don't like the sun. They'll be pushing down. So tomorrow, I mean, it looks like we could be on for the blank today, and it wouldn't surprise me if we did both blank. But you learn as much from a bad day as you do from a good day. And what it will tell me is, tomorrow in the match, it's going to be difficult, but set your stall out and stick to your guns. Concentration's key when it's very difficult, and it's hard to keep concentration up because you're fishing away and you're getting very little action. So you've just got to keep with it and concentrate on every cast. And that's when you've got to let your imagination imagine that every time you put your flies in the water, there's a fish behind them, and you've got to be concentrating to that level. So we're going to finish off this drift in Hideaway, and then I'm going to take the cameras off the mount, because when we motor down that wind, I dare say there's going to be a fair bit of water coming into the boat. Anyway, we'll get back to it, and hopefully before the end of the video I will be able to show you a fish, even if it's a picture of one. well, morale's improved somewhat at one end of the boat at least. Ian, tell the folks how you've got on.
Well, with a bit of luck, to be honest, we changed over. We come into the Sailing Club Bay, mainly because it's the only place that we could find that was quite calm. The waves of down the far end there were getting a little bit big. So we came in here and, be very honest, we struggled the first couple of runs, and then Lindsay had a brainwave and told me to put on a hare's ear and some light line, which he'll deny, but anyway, I did, and I managed to catch...
Stop! I said light line. I didn't say £4 tippet. So when Ian caught the fish, I had to run round like an idiot, getting the drogue, trying to get my line out the way, but luckily enough, he did manage to land the fish. And he promised not to tell anyone in the bar that he was beating me. And I was a little bit worried because I know that was a blatant lie. So the very next drift though, I changed over. So I'd been fishing a floating line with hare's ears. I tried the bung to no avail. I was getting no action on that. So I changed over to a DI3. I've now got colour on the top dropper. In the form of, I call it a Grapham wet fly. It's on the site if you wanted to have a look for the tag, but basically it's a red tag on the back of a hare's ear, for want of a better description. But that's not what took the fish. I had a fab on the point, I was just stroking it back, and initially I just got the whack, and I missed that, and I thought, oh, there's my opportunity for the day gone. But the fish came back, I managed to hook it, and it was nice to get off the mark. I've got to be honest, nobody likes blanking, but to come to Rutland and blank on your first day of the season is it's a bit of a sore one. So it's nice to get off the mark. I think what we're going to do is, we've had 2 fish on the last 2 drifts here. So we're in behind the yachts into the little bay at the back here, and we're going to give it 1 more drift, and then we'll just leave. We need to find other options because currently the plan is not looking very firm because we just haven't found fish. That's the bottom line. So we need to go around and see if we can't find other areas. Well, it's been a tough old day for Ian and I. We've worked really hard. You know, Rutland's a huge water. You can't hope to cover the whole thing with 1 boat in such a short period of time. 8 hours is not long really. So we've come into the Church Bay for the last drift of the day, and we're now going to be thinking about what our plan's going to be for the match tomorrow. We haven't got very much to work on, so what we're going to have to rely on is past experience. Now, 2 fish to the boat on the 1st of April is quite literally unheard of, but Angling Water's reviewed their stocking policy, and what they're doing now is they're trickle stocking rather than sticking 30,000 fish in at the start of the season. And what do I think about that? I personally think it's a good thing, and the reason I think it's a good thing is I've not seen 1 single dead fish on the bottom, and you can see right through the layers of the water there's no dead fish. It's not a massive cluster of boats together because all the stockies are in one spot, so the boats are quite well spread. I think it's a good thing. Time will tell, you know. I think anglers nowadays, they vote with their feet. If they're not happy, they just won't come. And a lot of anglers, they expect to come and get big bags of fish this early in the season, and that's just not going to happen. It's that simple. But if you want to come and target good fish, Rutland's certainly a place to come and do that. Now, what we're going to do is finish off by drifting along Church Bay. Then I'm going to go home, scratch my head a bit, come up with a plan for the next 2 days of match fishing. So, thanks very much for watching the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.